Hello, Coach. Bill Burnett with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and we're back again for Wisdom Walks and the publication of Summerside Press. Jimmy Page and Dan Britton are our two authors. But one of my favorite chapters in this book is the one on competitive greatness. And the Venerable John Wooden made this statement. He said, "Peace of mind is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing that you made the effort to become the best that you're capable of becoming." Now, I'm going to tell you, that's a great little statement right there of true success. Peace of mind is a direct result of the self-satisfaction in knowing that you made the effort to become the best that you're capable of becoming. Now, Coach Wooden might have coined the phrase competitive greatness. I'm pretty sure that he did. But that's really what this is about. It's about being a successful athlete and being truly great. You know, it's not about being the best. And Coach was always really very adamant about that. There can only be one best. And so you could look at a team and say there's one best player on that team. But do you know that there can be competitive greatness on that team if every one of the individuals on that team are pursuing what they're capable of becoming? And so you can have competitive greatness on a team if the players understand that. And so competitive greatness, if you wanted a definition, is learning to rise to every occasion and to push yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually to reach your God-given potential. It's a really great definition when you take a look at it that way. Paul wrote, once again, we've seen this verse used several times, 1 Corinthians 9, 24 to 26. But it really does help us understand, you know, the idea of competitive greatness. We want to talk about the B principles, though, of competitive greatness, the BE principles. One is be prepared, and that has to do with you know, working at the little things. It has to do with collecting pennies, as Coach Wooden used to talk about. And he said, you know, if you get plenty of pennies, if you get enough pennies, you'll be, you know, perhaps rich, you know. And he said, one relevant or perfected detail was another penny in our bank when, you know, he was coaching there at UCLA. There are three O's in life when it comes to this idea of being prepared. One is opportunity, one is obedience, and one is outcomes. Two of those parts have to do with God. The opportunity and the outcome is really controlled by Him. The obedience is our job. And so it takes those two parts, God, but our part is to work hard to do what we're capable of doing in terms of our athletic ability to reach our potential. The second one is be disciplined. And that has to do with what you do when nobody's watching. That's what integrity is, well, what you do when nobody's watching, but competitive greatness is how do you work when nobody's watching. Disciplined athletes have great awareness of the abilities that God has blessed them with, and they use those gifts to their full potential to please the Lord Jesus. To understand this, self-discipline and God's provision, I thought of an illustration. You may not remember the movie. It was a long time ago. It was Academy Award winner, Chariots of Fire. And I remember Eric Liddell was the young man that it was focused upon. It was kind of his story of how he competed in the Olympics and what all transpired with that event. But the story is really a great one because his sister is trying to talk him into going to the mission field and not running in the Olympics. And he tells her, he says, you know, I know God's called me to China, and He's gifted me or whatever to go to China. But he says, you know, when I run, I feel God's pleasure. And I thought that was a beautiful illustration of what it means to compete with the goal of pleasing Christ. And then finally, be focused is the final B principle. And being focused kind of helps us keep our vision clear, keeps us on track, helps us from getting distracted into other areas that are going to keep us from pursuing our goal. And one of those is the comparison distraction, where we compare ourselves to other people, other competitors, or maybe even guys on our team. And if we do that, we're gonna get off track. And all you have is you, nothing more, nothing less. Take what God has generously given you, Coach, and be the best that you can possibly be in unleashing your gifts and your talents right where God has placed you, and you will be competitively great. Do it now and watch Him work amazing things in your life. Well, Coach, it's been good to be with you again, and next week we'll be talking about another Wisdom Walks principle.